right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here at the Little Rock Zoo. We lucked out on the weather today, didn't we? I mean, woo! For August, it is usually blazing at this time of year, so we are so fortunate to have some good weather for such a great day. I am so pleased to see so many of my friends here. I've known so many of you for, gosh, more than 15 years that I've been a part of the Little Rock Zoo and that I've been involved in the Little Rock Civitans. And it gives me such pleasure to be here today with all of you. I can't thank you enough for all of your years of dedication to the zoo and to the community of Little Rock. So thank you so much for being here today. My name is Susan Altrui, and I am so proud to be the director of the Little Rock Zoo. And I am so glad, well, thank you. Thank you for that. Really, thank you for that. It's a pleasure. And it's my pleasure to be here today to dedicate our new stage, the Little Rock Civitan Elephant Stage. The Little Rock Zoo and the Little Rock Civitans have enjoyed a long history with one another, and the zoo is fortunate to have the Little Rock Civitans as a partner. We rely heavily on community partners and the Little Rock Civitans to make the zoo great, and the Civitans have been standing by the zoo for literally decades to ensure that it's here for Arkansas families to enjoy. The Little Rock Civitans are champions of service. You will not meet an organization that better meets the definition of this. The Civitans are committed to meeting community needs, and they rise to the occasion over and over and over again. Their partnership with the zoo dates all the way back to 1953. I dare to say that the Little Rock Zoo doesn't have a longer standing partner than the Little Rock Civitan Club. That's right. And that deserves a round of applause. No organization repeatedly and so selflessly has given over and over again. When you meet the members of the Little Rock Civitans, you will meet a group of individuals that is caring, loyal, and even fun. As a matter of fact, many of the projects the Civitans have sponsored have centered around the entertainment aspects of the zoo. The famed Old Woman That Lived in a Shoe play structure, the Civitan Pavilion, the Civitan Amphitheater, the Over the Jumps Carousel, and now the Civitan Amphitheater, or the Civitan Elephant Stage, excuse me. And while we can't have performers here just yet because of COVID-19, there will one day be a day when groups will gather again and performers will perform. In the meantime, we are grateful for this donation that allows us to conduct not only great entertainment, but also important ambassador animal chats with our wonderful animals that we have here. We love any opportunity to showcase that wonderful mission that we have at the Little Rock Zoo of conservation. So thank you so much for allowing us to reach out to those families and educate them about our wonderful animals. That's such a great thing that we're able to do because of this stage. Thank you so much to all the members of the Little Rock Civitans group. We are so grateful for this wonderful donation. Thanks again to each and every one of you. Thanks for stepping up to the plate for assisting the Little Rock Zoo once again. It is my distinct and wonderful pleasure to introduce to you Markham, who I think all of you that are sitting around me know very, very well, who is going to give some, I'm told, very brief comments. I'm told he's going to be yanked off the stage by this one if he goes over time too much, but we'll see about that. Markham, if you would like to make a few comments.
Thank you, Susan, and we're really glad to be here. I mean, we're celebrating our 100th anniversary as the Little Rock Civitan Club this week. In fact, we'll be 100 years old in Little Rock on Thursday. So this is the culmination of our project for this year. Part of our creed is that our hands do the work of the world and reach out in others. And that's what we're trying to do here. If you go back in that history that we have, a lot of our members have been out here working literally day and night, working here in the zoo as volunteers. During the past 100 years, we've done literally thousands of projects. But quite frankly, the Little Rock Zoo is the one that touched our hearts. Our celebrations goals were set early this year, long before we knew that a virus was coming. And those celebrations would include touching the lives of at least 1,000 people, celebrating our heritage, serving our community, and doing a signature project. And this is a culmination of that signature project, this project for the zoo. Today, if you notice already, is our $10,000 contribution. We're going to name this thing Little Rock Civitan Elephant Stage. Personally, the volunteer work of Civitans at the zoo is one of the things that spurred my own personal reason for becoming a Civitan. I moved here in 1967. I was with the power company. And I kept hearing about the zoo and the Civitans over and over and about their work. And that was the thing that really brought me in trying to find to be a Civitan. And because what I was seeing is that people were volunteering with their hands as well as their resources and their time at the zoo. My then 5-year-old son, Mark, was asked by his teacher at school one day where his daddy worked. Now, I've already mentioned I worked for the Arkansas Brown Light Company, as well as I was serving in the National Guard. But what my son told the teacher was, when she asked him, because he works at the zoo, because that's what we talked about at home. So for a long time, he thought I really worked here at the zoo. Well, when my daughter was 8 in 1976, that train track that runs back there, she christened the new train at that time with Kool-Aid. And yes, we have the pictures from the Democrat Gazette and the Democrat, Arkansas Democrat to prove it. The Civitans love the zoo because we see the smiles on the faces and it touches our heart. And we're glad to be a part of it. And surely sometime in the day, you're going to hear a child say, "Mommy, look!" And they'll be pointing at an animal that only the zoo can do. We're happy to work with the zoo. We're happy to share our resources because it's part of our heritage and it touches the lives of people. And so now I'd like to introduce to you George Mallory, a member of our club, and a former, well, George, you let him tell what your title was. I don't even remember that.
Thank you, Markham. Can everybody hear me? Well, I joined Civitan something like 34 years ago. I know it's our 100th anniversary. Markham actually did join 100 years ago. But before I joined, I checked to see what Civitan did, and I researched some of their projects. And one of the things that I found immediately, of course, is Civitan has a major emphasis on those with disabilities and a focus on children in general. But I was particularly pleased with the fact that the Civitans supported the zoo. And at least as far back as, I think Susan mentioned, 1953, this club had raised money for the zoo, and the petting zoo, I guess, was the Civitan Kitty Zoo at that time. However, my involvement actually predates the 1953 involvement of Civitan. I'm going to ask my wife to hand one of these pictures out to each table, which shows me on November 3rd, 1952, the little guy in front of the elephant. And that elephant back then was Ruth. But anyway, I have, for one reason or another, become very involved with the zoo, and most of it through Civitan. So Civitan has sponsored and been involved in so many projects. I'm definitely not going to try to read them all off, but a few. As you all know, one right behind us, the train's making that noise right there, and that was put here and purchased by not this particular train, there have been several since then, but it was purchased by the Little Rock Zoo. The train track was installed by the Little Rock Civitan Club through MOPAC. And it was lots of projects, one after another. There was a barn down here that we helped construct. One of our Civitans, who is no longer with us, Lewis Starling, fell right off of that barn and broke his leg. Over the years, we had all grades of animal acquisitions that we helped the zoo with, from snakes to elands and a ton. And we were a major contributor to the Over the Jumps carousel and helped place that at the zoo toward the front. Uh, One of our biggest contributions, and it was the largest in the zoo's history at that time. In 1997, we donated $100,000 toward the construction of what is known as the Civitan Amphitheater. And that just seems like yesterday. I was holding the shovel and we were doing groundbreaking for that, but that's how time flies, I guess. We had more projects in the 2000s. Well, one of the fundraisers was called Wild Night Under the Stars. My wife chaired that event, and it raised $18,000 for the zoo. And today it's still, it's called now Wild Wines Under the Stars. And she helped start that, and it's still going today. So I absolutely love the zoo. And so I've chaired the zoo projects for the club for some 20 years now. And through that involvement, I became involved at the zoo itself, not just through Civitan, but I was the chairman of the Zoo Board of Governors for some 11 years. And lots of things happened during that time, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Markham said they thought he worked at the zoo. I actually did work here at the zoo. It was less than minimum wage, but I did. I'm going to do something here. We have a guest. He's walking back there. He doesn't know I'm going to do this. The district governor-elect, Harold Connell. Would you come up here just a minute? You know, the zoo's about a lot of things, and Susan mentioned entertainment, but Civitan also is service, knowledge, and fellowship. So education is a real part of what we do. So I'm going to do an experiment with Harold, because this is a true story. I actually saw this happen, and I was eating lunch down there at the cafe, and somebody came down and said, "Mr. Mallory, the orangutans somebody's thrown pencils in there with them." I said, "Well, okay." So I picked up my phone, I called the administration and said, would a keeper go down there and try to take these pencils away? But it's amazing what you learn, and it's amazing how smart these animals are. So I'm going to recreate this incident, and Harold is going to be an orangutan. Harold, you got a pencil. Now, this is what the keepers do to get the pencil away from the orang. So we're going to demonstrate whether Harold is as smart as an orangutan. So the keepers will take a treat, and they will swap it with the orang to get something dangerous away from them. So we're going to make that swap, Harold. Oh, come on, play the game now. You're not going to get this till you make the swap. Okay, here you go. Now that's what Harold thinks that he should have done, and that's pretty smart, I guess. But here's how smart an orang is. Now I'm gonna be the orang, and you make the swap, okay?
Oh, you're gonna break it in half.
And that was done in they're a lot stronger than I am. They could do it in 1-inch increments, and it took some 10 treats before that entire pencil was swapped out with that orang. Well, Harold, I hope you lead our district well, even though might be a little not quite as sharp as an orang. Well, I'm very proud today of what the club is doing. I'm proud of this donation and the continued support and the continued partnership that Civitan has with the zoo. So I will go back to Markham and Susan so that we can present the $10,000 check to the zoo.